The Express. London. This is absurd. Stony-faced MEPs look on aghast as Hungary PM gives them both barrels.
In many aspects, we are unhappy with how the European Union works. When we criticize the European Union, it is because we want to correct these mistakes and we want to reform the European Union. It is our conviction that this is the only way to regain people's confidence towards European institutions. We have to do our best to address the root causes of inefficiencies. A good therapy requires a clear diagnosis. We have to be clear about what's wrong. I personally, and we Hungarians generally, we like honest talk. We like to speak clearly so that everybody understands, even if we know that this is not going to be to the liking of everybody. And we are really irritated by the verbal straitjacket which stops us from calling a spade, and this kind of talk has become very common in European public life recently. But we cannot. I don't think we can require all 28 member states to have the same temperament and the same style of debate.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban this afternoon gave eurocrats and MEPs an extraordinary verbal battering as he let rip over the bloc's absurd meddling in his country's internal affairs. By Nick Gutteridge, Brussels correspondent. Published, 1452, Wed, April 26, 2017. The firebrand leader tore into Brussels during a jaw-dropping speech to the EU Parliament in Brussels, in which he accused Euro representatives of being prejudiced against his country. In an attack on EU political correctness he raged, "We are really irritated by the verbal straitjacket which stops us from calling a spade, and this kind of talk has become very common in European public life recently." Today the EU Commission decided to open infringement proceedings against Budapest over changes to its higher education laws which critics say are designed to shut down a university owned by financier George Soros. Eurocrats are also considering following suit on proposed legal changes to policies on migration, funding of NGOs and media plurality which they believe contravene European Union law. Hitting back today, Mr. Orban ridiculed the EU's spectacular and embarrassing judgments about his country in the past which did not stand the test of time and accused MEPs of condemning us on untruths. He blasted, "Fairness is not a question of the size of the country. Honorable members, I've come here to defend my country. This situation is really absurd. It's almost like someone being accused of murder and being convicted even whilst the alleged victim is alive and kicking. Hungary and the Hungarian government is committed to the EU and this is unquestionable. However, in many aspects we are unhappy with how the EU works. When we criticize your EU it's because we want to correct these mistakes and we want to reform the EU. It's our conviction that this is the only way to regain people's confidence towards EU institutions." He raged, "If you manage to overcome your prejudices towards us you will find fresh, critical, and innovative thinking behind them. This is exactly what lies behind the successes of Hungary." Mr. Orban said that he believed the EU was overstepping its legal remit by trying to impose migrant quotas on Hungary, saying, "We reserve ourselves the right to decide who we share Hungary with, who we live together with." And he added, "It is also true, I won't deny this, that our vision of Europe is of a Europe built on strong member states. If you don't like our position, come forward with reasoned arguments but don't judge us and condemn us because we have our own opinion. Hungary is a proud country, we have always been committed to European Christian values." Mr. Orban has accused US-based billionaire Mr. Soros of using his university and charities which work with asylum seekers in an attempt to undermine his government. In his speech today he accused Mr. Soros of attacking Hungary and described him as an open enemy of the euro, saying he was actively encouraging illegal migration to Europe. After his speech the Hungarian PM was roundly condemned by MEPs, who described his migration policies as inhumane and accused him of betraying European values. Leader of the Socialists and Democrats, the Italian MEP Gianni Pittella, accused him of knowingly lying when he accused the parliament of defending a hidden agenda on behalf of Mr. Soros. He told him, "Don't go back to Budapest saying it's all our fault, that we're the bad guys imposing certain choices on you and trying to stop you with regard to the university, the NGOs, the media, and the refugees. I think you should stand by your conscience and tell your people the truth." Liberals leader Guy Verhofstadt said he saw a sort of modern-day version of old communist Hungary in Mr. Orban's authoritarian leadership style, adding, "It's like Stalin or Brezhnev are back." The Brexit negotiator even suggested that the Hungarian leader should think about quitting the EU, accusing him of taking the bloc's money but not being prepared to play by its rules. However, the Hungarian PM found an ally in the form of former UKIP leader Nigel Farage, who said Brussels would go on interfering in the lives of Hungarian people and urged him to call a Brexit-style referendum on membership.